right.
Okay. So
Go ahead.
what I'm going to do, Bruce, is I'm going to take you from the entire process, from the creation of the project all the way to its completion. And I will also include all the accounting entries in there. Okay. If you
Yeah.
have any questions, just stop me and yeah, at any point of time. And of course, Nathan, if you think I'm going off track, this is not what you were planning to do, then just please let me know.
Understood.
Yeah. All right. So obviously the process starts with us getting an order from the customer.
Yep.
Yeah. So what we do is we create the project. Now, the project looks slightly different to what you are used to seeing. So just to give you a comparison as to what your current projects look like. All right. So this is what your current project looks like. As you can see, you have many tasks. Every option that you work on is defined as a task. So aircon, appliances, baths, etc., is defined as a task, and you put in the budget for each and every task. And then you create purchase orders against these tasks, and that's how you record your budgeted amount versus actuals. Okay. And you have one revenue task, just called revenue, and you bill the customer based on that, based on the percentage completed. Your billing is based on fixed price. And Bruce, please correct me if I'm mistaken anywhere. Okay.
Yeah,
So
there
that
could
is
be.
the
There could be change orders along the way, but
yeah.
it starts with a fixed price.
Yeah. Okay. So this is what your current project looks like. Now, the new project, okay, that we are proposing will look like this. Now, this is what I was told initially in the implementation, that we get initial payment of 20%, and then we keep charging the customer 20% at specific breaks of our manufacturing cycle. So when we finish the base, frame, enclosed, and of course, the final one on completion, the initial payment is an advance of 20%. So what we've done is we've created 5 tasks, as you can see. Okay, all of them are fixed price. We get the 20% in advance. Okay, as you can see, my revenue is also broken into 5 different categories because I'll be billing them on various different times of the project.
Now,
so we've already, sorry?
With that 20%, sometimes when you're dealing with a big customer, they might want to vary that.
That's okay. You can set this project setup is not set in stone, so you can change the percentage. Again, this is what I was told. So if your initial payment is 10% or 30%, you can change that. That's not a problem.
They're saying by like default, it will be like this, and then for the project, when you set up the project, you can amend it if needed.
So you can create your own templates. This has come from a template, and that's what it is. So you can create different kinds of templates, or you can just use one template and override it. Not a problem.
Thanks. Thanks
Okay.
for this.
This is just a description anyway. All right. Now, so I have made my revenue task. Okay.
Just on that revenue budget, Bhavesh,
Yeah.
just for everyone's
Yeah.
knowledge, the those 2 columns, actual the original budget amount is manually typed in. That's got to be worked out on every project.
Yes, correct.
So
I think that's what they're doing now as well.
that's where
The
you
budget
can
that
the dollar amount on each payment claim based on a percentage of the total.
yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Now the cost budget looks very different to what you are used to. Obviously, you've broken it down into all the different kinds of expenses that you're going to incur on the project, and you have put in a budgeted amount for that. Now, when we are linking a production order to a project in the system, all the costs go into the production order, not to the project. Okay. And the production order is linked to the project. So let me do this. I am going to create a new project. Okay. Okay. So this is what the project looks like. Now, since we are linking it to a production order, we need to have a stock item which can be linked to the production order. So what we are going to do is we are going to create a stock item which is exactly the same. The code of the stock item will be exactly the same as my project. So you will see one stock item per project. To make it convenient, what we're doing is we're naming the stock item exactly as the project code. All right. Just to show you some GL accounts, Bruce, this is my inventory account. And this is my work in progress account. I will tell you when it comes into play, the work in progress account. Once my stock item is done, I will then create a bill of material for that item. Now, every project that you have has different things. So all of this will change. It will not be exactly the same. Some things might remain the same, but other things will change. It depends on how your what requirement the customer has and has given to you. Now, for this demo, I'm going to be removing a few things just to make it a bit more simple. Simple. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So this is something that Nathan will do for every project. He will create a bill of material. He has a base. He will use the base, and then he will configure based on the customer's requirements. All right. There we go. It's done. So my base setup is done. I've created a project. I've had stock items, and I've created the bill of material. Then I will activate my task and activate my project. I mean, the first thing obviously I can do is obviously create an invoice and receive the payment from the customer, the initial payment. Do you actually use question? Do you guys actually use performer invoicing, or is it something that is not required?
I don't think we use platform invoicing. Do we use platform invoicing? I don't think so. Bruce.
I don't think so.
Okay, I saw it clicked in your existing projects. That's what I was asking. Anyway, so I'll run the project billing.
Should we?
Well,
I don't know. What's the benefit of using pro forma invoicing?
No, some customers ask for pro forma invoicing. That's before the actual invoicing. They just want to see what it looks like. That's all.
Mhm.
That's what I was asking.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Now, where is Mr. The last step in the project, you've created the project, you've created the stock item, and you've created the bill of material. The last step in the project creation is creation of the production order itself to capture all the costs that go into the project.
So, Bhavesh, can you create the production order from the production order screen and show how it links that way?
Okay, if that's what you want. But yeah,
Yeah.
this thing does the job for you. But if that's how you want to do it.
Oh,
no problem.
actually, yeah. Fine.
Okay, nice. So we are going to create a production order. Again, if you notice, the number of the production order is exactly the same as the project code. So this keeps everything the same. It's very easy to tie back. Okay. This is my quantity to produce. When do I intend to start my manufacturing process? Okay. We won't worry about dates right now. What is the bill of material that I intend to use? Now over here, you see, I can link the project to the production order. And I can link the production order to one specific task. So generally, when am I going to complete generally we link it to the last task, which is my completion step. Project. So this is one way of creating the production order. The other way is just going here and saying create project production order, and it will do that for you. You can give in your own production order number and everything. So now that I've created the production order, you'll see it show up over here. Okay. What about my cost totals? So if I look at the totals tab, it'll give me the totals over here. Now, please note here that this will only include all my inventory totals only. It does not include labor. Okay, so if we want to record labor costs on the project, I suggest adding that as additional tasks in your cost. We are making the production orders only to record material costs. So this is what we have planned. Now, where is this amount coming from? This amount is actually coming from the total of my bill of material that I have. So it's all these items, whatever the standard cost for these items is. So you can see that. Okay. Right. So once all my things are set, what I do is I can start making purchase orders for this specific production order. So I will go to my purchases. I will say create purchase orders. I will put in the production number. Oh, that's type. Okay. Now what the system is doing is basically whatever I have materials in my bill of material. So if I look at my production order and I go to my production detail screen, so this is where all my bill of material has come from. And you can see everything which has been marked for PO. Stuff that obviously stuff which is not marked for PO, that means I have in stock. Okay. So it's not marking for PO. Otherwise, it will mark for PO. Okay. I was testing this in the morning. That's why not all of them have been marked for PO, because I got in some stock. That's all. Otherwise, you will see that mark for PO for almost everything. So what that does is it links that PO to the production order. So what I will do here is I will create these POs. If I go into my purchase orders, system has created all my purchase orders. And this is where the normal procurement cycle takes over. You will you will open your purchase orders. You can send them to your suppliers, right? And they will then ship it out to you based on your dates. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to assume that we have sent it out and we have received the orders from the suppliers.
See that promise on date?
Oops, sorry. You want me to go back?
Yeah. The promise on date is forecasted based on the start date of the production order and how many days after the job starts that material is required. So if it's in day 11, it's going to forecast days after the job starts.
So why did you want to show that to us now?
Just a FYI, when just talking about dates and when we're talking about cash flow, that's
With that taken
the
into
key
account
thing.
your weekends, when you say
Yes,
eight
yes,
days, it'd
yes,
be 8
and
working
holidays.
days.
And holidays.
So it'd be just 8 working days.
Yeah.
All right. So what I'll just do is I will receive all these items. Now, when I'm receiving the items, I will show the accounting entry once I just finish all of them. This is like your standard PO receipt accounting entry, Bruce, which I'm sure you're familiar with. So, but I will still show you the accounting entry. Just go. All completed. All right. The accounting entry is just like a normal purchase orders where you have inventory account debit to PO accrual account credit. This PO accrual account will go back to zero as and when you record the AP invoice. So that is the AP cycle. Okay. As you can see over here, no project has been hit. All of this is linked to your production order, not to the project. Now, I wanted to show you balances in the project. Right now, this is it. This is what my balances look like. Now, I have received the material and I want to start production. So the first thing I do is I release the order. Until I release the order in the system, I cannot issue any material to the order. So I will release the order. There we go. Now, Nathan will obviously check what materials have I received from the supplier for the first step, and then he will go and issue those materials to the order. So let's say that we have received the base steel for now, and maybe this one. As you can see, they both belong to different operations. The base steel belongs to operation 10, and the other item belongs to operation 20. But we have physically worked on both of them, and we have issued the material. So now this is where accounting will come in. As soon as he issues material, when he clicks on release, the system will do two things. One is obviously from an inventory perspective, it will consume these two items based on the quantity that you have entered. And it will also do an accounting entry wherein your WIP account will come into play. So this is the accounting entry I wanted to show you. So for the first item, okay, it's $102. We have issued to the production and it's gone to the work in progress. And see here, over here, the system has used the project code and the task. Same thing with the second item, whenever I'm issuing. So how does this look in the project? There we go. So now you'll start seeing your project get a WIP asset account. It is for 107 and 31, the actual amount, which is nothing but a total of those two items that were issued. 102 plus 4, 106 plus this, 107 odd something. So that's what it is. So this way, whenever you're looking at a project, you will see your WIP go up. Now, you can also look into your production order maintenance and look at your totals. And you'll see the amount of material that you have issued to the production order, which is exactly the same as my project, 107.31. If I wanted to see my different transaction, yeah, sorry.
Sorry, is that material then issued at the start of the job or as we consume it? Then it's
It depends on you. When you can do that transaction in the system whenever you want. We are not using back flushing, so you can issue the material days in advance before you consume it. It could be on the shop floor, not a problem.
We'd probably sign it or release it as we progress system for your work calculation. Yeah.
And if I look at something called events in the production order, it tells me what I am doing. So obviously I had the production order was created, it was released, when it was released, and then there was a transaction for materials. I can just click on this and I can see the detail of what materials I was issued. So as and when the operation gets completed, right, we move forward. So we have to use a move transaction to tell the system that this operation was completed. So in this case, this one was completed, operation 10. So I will release it.
Will operation 10 be equivalent to like a stage
Yes.
or a bay?
Okay. So my operation 10 is done. Now I wanted to actually show you one thing. Where is that? Yeah, there we go. It's better than showing you bill of materials. Okay. So this is the production order master and this is the production order detail. This will give you all the operations in the production order, including the materials for each operation. So as you can see, look at my first operation. It says it's completed.
Sorry, I've separated operation IDs at the moment by supplier and material type. It's not by stage. I think one of the items Bhavesh might have deleted was a TAC. I've got TAC operation IDs, and they don't do anything except manage the time. The time frame.
Okay. No worries. So we look at the second operation. Okay, it's in process. The others are released. Okay, but look at the item. Quantity required was 6, and to where is the actual? There we go. Keep that next to each other. So quantity actual means what we have issued already. So this also tells you what you have issued to the production order in detail. So you can see that I've already issued this item. That's good. So I can work on my second operation. Now, let's say that my second operation is also completed. So I will say create move transaction. And I will move the second one. I will release my second. Now, at this point of time, when you're moving until your final product is created, there will be no journal entries. So if I look at my journal transactions, there's nothing. Nothing's happening. I'm just moving stages. I'm moving from one operation to another operation. That's all I'm doing. Okay, so if I refresh this, my second operation is complete. Okay. Now I can start issuing stuff for the third, fourth, fifth, and sixth operation. But at this stage, I have to also bill the customer because let's say my base is complete. So I go back to my projects and I can say my base is complete. 100%. Okay. Then what I will do is I can run project billing.
Yeah. Yes. Good.
My pop-up was blocked. Okay, so since the pop-up was blocked, I can just go directly to the AR. Otherwise, it would have taken you to the AR invoices.
Who is it you deal with there? Oh, yeah, I see you. I look at it all one further.
Yeah. So this is my invoice which was created. Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. The initial payment is there because I didn't run it earlier on. So yeah, it's also included the initial payment, but this is what will happen. So obviously this 55 because it includes the initial payment. All right. Done. Now, if I look at my project balances and I refresh, see the actual amount is gone to this. So this way I am looking at all my income coming from the project. And obviously I can look at the WIP account, which is my production orders going. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to complete the production order and show you the end, what happens in the end. So this will happen step by step. Okay. Let's go production orders, materials. I'll take the wizard. Alright. So just to obviously quicken the demo, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all and release it for all operations. As you can see, 30, 40, 60. So there we go. I have released all. If I look at my production order detail, all my operations are in process because I have issued material for all of the remaining operations. And this is the update. Okay, so look at my planned material and actual material. This tells me that whatever I had planned, okay, the cost, I have incurred that cost. Now, if I add more materials to the issue or less, you will see a difference here. And then you know, okay, there was an imbalance. Maybe something broke. So I had to buy a new one and I had to issue that to the production order. But I strongly suggest you issue both of them. This way you actually know what's your cost going into that specific production order. All right, let's look at my project balances. So this way my project balances for WIP has gone to this. And let's look at my journal transactions. Okay. So as you can see, all the materials that I have issued are sitting in work in progress account. So now I have completed all my operations and my tiny home is ready. So, but I have to record that in the system as well. So what I will do is I will move, okay, and I will complete each and every transaction. So operation 30 is done. Operation 40 is done. What was my last operation was? 60.
Number.
Sorry, Bruce, were you saying something?
Where's the operation number?
Here, operation ID.
Yep.
All right. Now this is my last operation. 60 is my last operation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a lot. We've created the item needing a lot serial number. Okay. And what this does is I will release this. Okay. As soon as my last operation is completed, see what's happened to the status of the production order. It says complete. Okay. Now, what the system has done at the final operation, it's created the inventory for the tiny house in the system. So if I look at my journal transactions, as soon as I did my last move, it has moved all my WIP value into this finished good 30102, and my WIP has been zeroed out. So if I look at my project now, if I look at my balances, the WIP has gone to 0 because everything has moved into the material. Okay, so what will Nathan do at this point of time? He will issue that item to the project. And completed. And he will release it. So this will do two things. Once is my inventory for this item will go back to 0. Okay. And my inventory account. So as you can see, this is the accounting entry at that point. My finished home inventory account has gone back to 0 and it has hit my cost of goods sold. What impact does it have on my project? Expense, material, you'll see the expense. So this way, if you're looking at the project, you can come to know what your expenses were, as compared to your income. The final step in my production order, okay, it's been completed. I have to do something called an accounting close. So if there's any balance left in the WIP, right, the system will automatically close it. So it'll post that to a expense account. So I will highlight this and I will say process. Okay, so let's see if the system has passed any accounting entry for this. There's nothing there. The reason is this one was a very clean one. What I planned for, I issued. Okay. So let me just show you the production order. So there was no excess or anything in the WIP. As you can see, the WIP balance is 0. There was no variance at all. What I planned for, I issue. Obviously, real life is not the same. You will see balances sometimes big. If they're big, then I would obviously suggest to investigate why there was a big WIP balance. But sometimes you see $1, $2 and stuff like that, and which something that obviously you can let go. I'm assuming you will let go, but yes. But that's what it is. So all of that will be coming from your production orders. And that's what once your project billing is done, then you will go to your revenue tasks. Okay. And then you will do your final project billing. Okay. Yeah. Please. Done. Go back to balances. And as you can see, this is my income from the project. This is my expense. And that's it. Now you can close the project. No, I haven't marked the task as completed. Sorry.
Could I ask a question?
Yes, of course.
Costs may come in at a later date.
When you say later date,
Well, you might have say a plumber, subcontractor,
okay.
and he mightn't put his bill in until, next month.
You
And
don't
yet-
have to close the project. For the demo, I just showed you the whole process, but you don't have to close the project. And again, this cost is only the material cost. Again, very letting you know it's only material. So I'm assuming that you will have adding tasks here for all the labor that you incur on the project. And then for that part, you will create normal POs for the and attach those POs to the project, like how you're doing now currently. This is purely from a material perspective. We are creating a production order so that we can capture all our material costs in that production order. We have not implemented the labor side of things. We have tried to keep it simple. So this is purely from a material standpoint.
Yeah, but we would do the final invoice before it leaves the factory, right?
You can do the invoice whenever you want in the project. That doesn't matter. You don't have to close the project. You can do your final invoicing, and then you can keep adding project. You keep your tasks active and keep adding costs to it. Once you know that all the costs have been captured, then you complete the project.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, because all of this is based on fixed pricing, not on time and material. So it's not like as soon as you add a cost, the system will automatically bill the customer. No.
Yeah.
Yeah. You control when you want to bill the customer. And that is the process from start to finish. So yeah, we saw the journal entries over here. You'll be using a WIP account, but purely from a material perspective.
Bhavesh, that
Yes.
WIP account, MYOB uses that WIP account as an asset account. Is that correct?
Your WIP accounts are generally asset accounts. Yes.
So I think one of the things we are looking at in Alpha Line is using the WIP account as an expense account, so we can recognize the expense during the production rather than recognizing it at the end.
Now the reason why it's used as an asset account, okay, is when I do my final production and I create the material, you see, this became zero.
Yep.
So if you're doing it as an expense, and I'm not the accountant here, Bruce is, if he's okay with it, then that's fine. But generally, you do not update that in your P&L because you're reporting your profit and loss every month, and suddenly you've been reporting expenses, and now suddenly they've gone reverse. So
Well-
from an accounting perspective, I don't know how that works. And again, Bruce can answer that question. But generally, normal accounting, WIP account should be an asset account.
The current process is it the WIP account is an expense account. Is that correct, Bruce?
Well, not really.
No.
The way we do it, see, doing it like this, when does it enter into your P&L once the job's finished?
Once the job's finished and you issue that item to the project over here. Otherwise, it will show up in your balance sheet all the time.
See, the difficulty I've got with this, and this is what we went over with Justine, is that at the moment, we recognise income in relation to the costs over the budgeted cost.
Mhm.
Doing it this way means that you don't take any profit into account until the job's completed. Is that correct?
Yes, it'll show up in your balance sheet until then. You're correct.
So you'll go
As
months
a
and
WIP account,
you could go months making losses, and all of a sudden you make a big profit.
I guess. Yeah, but you'll see that in the WIP, you'll see that in your balance sheet, won't you, against your WIP account? Your P&L might show you a loss, but your balance sheet will show you the WIP. And it will show you the WIP as per each individual project that you have. So if I look at the journal transactions,
It would only
so-
show you a loss until
so as you can see, all my WIP
the
is
same.
going with the project code. So it's very easy to identify what is sitting in my WIP at any point of time with the project. So even if I have multiple projects going on, it's very easy to identify what WIP belongs to which project.
I think, Bruce, the journal entries that you do is for the construction industry, where this WIP over here is for manufacturing, which is like slightly different. It's treated differently. So at the end of the day, what you're currently getting and the reporting that you're currently doing, you're not going to be able to do it at the same time. Because you'd only be able to do that kind of reporting once the project was finished, not during the project. Like at the moment, you're monitoring it as it happens. And now you'd only be able to do an analysis at the end of the, once it's completed.
So
That analysis that you currently
So what
doing.
we were going to suggest is when the production order is created, we can have attributes. And over here, we can have all the attributes which are the different stages of budgeting. and you can enter the budget values. Okay. And we can create a report taking these budget values against, what has actually been issued. And that way you can come to know, okay, at least from a material perspective, I am again emphasizing purely from a material perspective, you know what you budgeted and what you are getting. For the labor side of things, you will already have, as you're doing now, you will have additional tasks which will then have budgets over here as well and actuals. This
Now,
is purely from a material perspective. Again,
as far as the invoicing goes, when you invoice it, where does that go in the balance sheet?
The invoice goes into balance sheet and P&L. So this is what my invoice looks like. This going to this account, sales account. At least that's how I set up the project. So if I look at the accounting entry for this, okay, it's going into my sales account. Yeah.
So what's happening is, as you invoice it, it goes into revenue, but no costs go to cost of goods sold.
Correct.
Goes to WIP, is that right?
Yes.
Could you?
Completely up the shoot. So you could run a profit and loss at the end of the month, and it would show $500,000 in revenue because it's a job worth 600,000. So you've invoiced 500,000, all gone to revenue, cost of goods sold nil, gross profit 500,000. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it'll be sitting in your WIP account, like I said.
Yeah, that's not going to work for us.
I mean, that's how generally production manufacturing works. You don't record your cost until your manufacturing is done. Now,
but you record your revenue as you invoice.
Yeah, since your manufacturing cycle is very long, right? It's not like it happens in a day or so. It happens over 3 months. Yeah. So now another option, which I had suggested, which will, like I said, which will increase the work that Nathan is doing, is to create production orders for each and every. For example, let me go back to one of your projects.
Yeah, look, Vish, we don't. So I think if you want to show us how that will look, sure, please go ahead. But if it's going to add more burden on the procurement team, by itself is a no-go.
Can you show me like a WIP report which shows me the project with the costs against each project?
So when you're running I've already completed the task here, but generally when it's in the WIP status, right, you should be able to see it here. It shows up under the project as a WIP anyways, but over here when you run it for all projects, it'll just show you.
And that'll be the uncompleted projects.
Yes,
WIP,
that'll be, yes, exactly, yes.
So it will show.
You can run this from and to period, but yeah.
Just bring that report up again. So you got contract amounts, that's the original and budgeted. Then you got estimated costs.
That's for change orders. I mean, the estimated cost again, yes. Commitments is all your purchase orders, but in our case, purchase orders for material will go directly to the production order. But any other labor or any other thing, purchase orders will be linked to the project. So you should be able to see them here. then the actuals is where it should show up. You can also, at any point of time, run something called project balance. Okay. So you can run this either wide open or, yeah, my project is closed, but anyway. Anything which is open will basically show up. It gives you by project, it gives you what is the income. Okay. It's breaking it down by that. WIP, so you'll see the WIP amount here. Okay. And material will be 0. Material will only show up once the WIP is once the production is complete. So the system will move it from WIP to material. You will, I mean, when Nathan issues the item to the project, it will move from the WIP to the expense.
Is there a way to analyze the financial, like the finance side of things based on the production order?
So production order also has lots of reports and inquiries which you can use. Yes. So one second. The production order. So you can use the WIP report if I want. Just going to run it open. So this will tell you what your WIP is by each. Again, the production number is the same as the project code. So that's a good thing that we've done. It's very easy for you to identify what project it belongs to.
Now, in the current system, our tasks are split up over, the different divisions, the different
Yes.
manufacturing.
Yes.
Where is that in this now? Instead of calling it tasks, what do you call it?
It's in stages, I think you said. There's task
That's in
documents.
operations, different operations under the project. So, where can I see? Production order, performance, data. Let's see the summary. So this will just show me summary. Let me just see. No. Basically, what you're asking for is the production order details, which I showed you. Just seeing if there is a report which will show you that. Shows me transaction by production order, material transaction details. Yeah. There is no out of the box report which will, I'm guessing this is what you're asking for. You want to see this.
Well, see, at the moment, we might want to know, we have a task called trailer or frame, base frame.
Yes.
Now, when we budget, we would allow, say, 13 grand for a base frame, but that would be made up of a lot of componentry.
Yes.
Can we see against that 13,000 that we've allowed what our actual costs for that base frame add up to?
So it depends on how you set up your bill of material, like I said. So if you had a bill of material with an operation called base frame, then yes. So it depends. In this case, I can see it against something called steel base. Then I've added something called bolts. So yes.
But Vesh, see that work center column?
Yeah.
Z.
Yeah.
So if you open that.
Okay, so that's your, okay. So everything to do with Work Center Z2000 is your base.
So that's
Is that it?
That's how I've set it up. Yes.
To correspond with the tasks.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So then I don't have to worry about operations then. Only the Work Center.
No, that's because there's like the operation ID. You can link multiple work centers to an operation ID.
Yes. Correct.
Yeah, but you can't go the other way. That's why I used work center.
Okay, sure.
And you could have
so
a report with work centers
And the cost
what I would, yeah.
Cost to get budget.
potentially. Is that possible?
Yeah. So then what you can do is you can create attributes which will be equal to your work center code. And then you can put in the budget in the production order itself.
And you wouldn't have benefits. Yeah, that's how we do it.
And then we can come up with a custom report which will take these, okay, and then see what y'all have issued for that work center, and then show you the budget versus actual.
Yeah.
There's nothing out of the box like that, but yeah, we can do that using Vilexo or using whatever standard report designer. Yeah, can be done.
Can we can you just go back to the production order?
Yeah.
Maintenance.
Yeah.
Or yeah, those attributes.
Yeah.
Be able to define those and copy them. Oh, we can import them as an Excel file. Yeah.
Yeah. So first what we do is we create a master. So let's say I'm going to create an attribute based on your work center. So Z2000, did you say, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So I initially conceptualized these as work zones, as
Okay.
like trailer frame
Yeah.
in linings. So we can manage payment claims, but if we break it down according to the sales contract, then it'll still.
So once you define all the different attributes, what you need to do is make sure it is available to that production order type. Okay. And then whenever you create a new production order, I'll just give you an example. Today, okay. So when I'm creating, make sure when I'm creating it, okay, I can add in every work center, and I can put in the value. That's my budgeted value. This way, I have my entire budget. I can obviously export it to Excel. I can upload it from Excel in one shot. So you can have a template ready, just update the values and update them. So this way, every production order has its own budget. And we can create a custom report which will take this and show you the actuals for each operation total. For each work center totals. Work center total. Yes. And yes, and that's it. You'll have your work center total.
All right, but just to come back to the issue that we had with the cost of, so like the cost of goods sold, will this then show up in the P&L as a cost of goods sold if it's still within production?
It will show up in your balance sheet. That is standard accounting. It will not go to your P&L. As long as the production order is open, everything generally goes to the balance sheet.
Okay, but then we would be able to show it in WIP, right? So it's instead of a like cost of goods sold expense.
It's in your balance sheet.
Expense or the balance in the calculation will maybe an expense or a.
Yeah, but you're still not comparing.
Could you do a journal?
That's what I was wondering.
Entry?
Yeah, you might have to still do your own journals because otherwise
you'll have to do a auto reversal journal or something.
Yeah,
and that's what. So to show that cost of goods sold for the month, and then obviously it's auto reversal, so it will go back to normal in the next month.
I think from our side,
you got to match income with corresponding costs.
Okay.
So Bruce, in terms of what this looks like, I think you would need to work with professionals. Like I don't know what this needs to look like.
Well, you're recording this.
Yes.
So if you can send me the recording or let me know where it is, and I'll I'll go through it, Colin can go through it. And I can ask Nathan any
Yep.
detailed questions that I want so that we can sort of map the thing out as to how it's going to work.
Yep.
Yeah, that's fine.
But right now I can't comment until I get my head around it all.
All right, sure thing. I'll send the link to you. And then furthermore, so Bhavesh, I think with the job reporting, that's a separate thing, but like the job reporting using Velixo, so the actual versus plan with Velixo, we'll set this up. I don't think that's that's the priority at this stage. Let's just sort this out first, and then we can
Sure.
go there.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, I want to make sure that the finance is up to speed, and
Yeah.
we have their stamp of approval and what we want to do, and then we can go from there. Yes.
Sure.
Have you got other recordings that you would have taken, I suppose?
Yeah, I've loaded them on YouTube, so they're easily accessible.
Yeah. So you just have to give me a link to them all.
Yeah.
To get to the end of Colin.
And also the testings. I don't have access to the testing.
Oh, don't you?
No.
Can you provide that, Bhavesh?
Sorry.
Can you provide Colleen access to test, please? And Bruce? Oh, Bruce has already got it.
Yeah,
Well,
I'll just see for Colleen. I'll just make a note of that. Sorry.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. All right, Bhavesh. I'll circle back to you, and I'll send out this link. Thank you.
No worries.
Thanks for your time, Bhavesh.
Thank you.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you all. All right. Have a good
Yeah.
one.
Bye.
Yeah. Cheers. Bye.